everyone, I'm Pastor BFINSTER. I'm one of the associate pastors here at Rock Harbor Church in Bakersfield, California. And today I want to go over a recent article that came out. But just setting it up, I just want to say that we know that the culture is attacking the biblical worldview, right? And we totally get that. People that don't believe in God, things like that, we would expect that. But the problem is it's happening within inside the church. And a new study just came out too as well that I'll get into that really shows what's going on in the church. But we already see numerous Bible college, seminaries, pastors, and other church leaders seem to totally undermine the Bible and its authority. But I want you guys to see what's actually going on. So check this out. The study came out that 37% of American pastors, only 37% of American pastors have a biblical worldview. So if that's the case, what is the dominant religion then? What's going on here? Well, apparently in Christian churches, the dominant religion is syncretism, which is basically a little bit of this, a little bit of that, sprinkled with some Christianity in it. And they stir it up, and that's what's going on. And so we already see the churches mixing in with New Age. We see churches accepting homosexuality. We see people accepting abortion and things like that. So they're taking, instead of having a biblical worldview, they're going out and taking these other secular worldviews and grabbing this, grabbing that, and then throwing it in with some, sprinkling in a little Christianity, like I said, and that's what they're coming up with. So the study asked the pastors a series, I believe, of like 52 questions. And they asked associate pastors, senior pastors, children pastors, teaching pastors, and all down the line. And then I'll go through and show you even a crazier breakdown of what's going on. So with that, I'll show you a little breakdown right now. It's just some of the questions that were asked. So here they are. Only 47% of pastors have a biblical worldview regarding family and the value of life. That's pretty scary right there. So we already expect, again, for the culture, they're attacking the family unit, right? They're attacking the nuclear family structure. And then now, even in the churches, and this is what happens with the progressive Christianity movement and everything else that's coming in that's trying to basically have their cake and eat it too. They read the Bible and they want it to fit their lifestyle. And so we're seeing this going on in churches today. And then the value of life? Are you serious? The most precious and important thing, the value of life. So that goes back to abortion. So it's even in the church now. 44% concerning issues related to God, creation, and history. Now, I think that could be even lower because what seems to happen is a lot of, especially in the progressive Christianity movement, and a lot of these people that want to throw in with theistic evolution, all sorts of stuff, don't even take on Genesis 1, chapter 1 through 11 seriously. They either allegorize it, they try to say it's just symbolic or whatever else. And so what's happening now is you have a whole movement of people believing in theistic evolution, which causes a lot of problems. And one of the big problems would be that means that before the fall, you had death, disease, and all sorts of things like that. Now, if you really look at evolution and really get into it, it's easily debunked. But just for an example right here is what they'll do is they took a creationist scientist took the dating methods from the secular scientists, things like that that believe in evolution and all that. And what they did is they took some rocks that they knew the age of, which were only from about the 1980s. But when they used the dating methods of these evolutionists, it goes back to thousands of years old. And so you can see that the dating methods that they use are totally incorrect. Now, moving on, 41% in relations to personal faith practices, 43% when it comes to matters of sin, salvation, and one's relationship with God. And we have 40% pertaining to human character and human nature. And then we have 40% when it comes to measuring of lifestyle, personal behavior, and relationships. you guys to see even more of this breakdown, because it's worth noting this, that among senior pastors, 41% have a biblical worldview, while only 28% of associate pastors and only 13% of teaching pastors, and then 4% of executive pastors. But I want to show you what's next in the percentage and how low it is here and the importance of this one, and we'll talk about it. All these are extremely important, and all these are way too low. It's actually just absolutely ridiculous how you have people in the pulpit that don't even have a biblical worldview. But check this out, what it's going down. When it comes to children's and youth pastor, the number is amazingly 12%. So 12% of youth pastors, it's saying only 12% of them have a biblical worldview. Guys, this is insanity. You already expect your church to go out to the schools and things like that for your kids to be indoctrinated at a really young age, but now you're having it's not even safe at church. Now, I want you guys to see this. A person's worldview is primarily developed before the age of 13. And then as things go on, they go through a period of refinement during their teens and their 20s. Okay. So they're not even safe in the churches now? Your kids aren't even being taught right then? So this would explain a lot why kids get out of high school and they go off to college, or they get in the real world, and somebody comes and attacks their faith, and they have no idea how to defend it or rebuttal what the people are saying. And so someone comes at them and throws something at them that's totally been refuted, but they don't know their Bibles. They haven't been taught anything. They've been, playing games for an hour and have a 10-minute devotional in youth group, so they're not prepared at all. And then you have, the parents and everything else sitting out and here and getting taught from some imposter in the pulpit now, because we have literally have pastors dressing up in drag now from the pulpit and teaching in drag and having drag queen story hour and everything else at church. Now, I'm not saying every single pastor is bad, but it's getting down to that remnant. It's these remnant churches that are standing up and speaking the truth. But we have to test everything to the Word of God against whatever people say. And I want you guys to realize something. Not only watch for what your pastors are saying, but also watch for what they're not saying and what they're not talking about as well. And we have to test everyone. You guys have to test me. You have to be ready. You have to know your scriptures and be prepared and be ready to give a defense for the hope that is within you. Okay, so if pastors don't possess a biblical worldview, they cannot pass it along, right? It's not being passed along to the kids. If people are going to these type of churches with a pastor like this, it's not being passed on in the pulpit in big church. It's not being passed along, like I said, in the youth. It's not being passed along in children's. So we must know our Bibles. We must know the truth. We must go out and speak the truth in love. We must be bold and ready, because there's a lot coming our way. And again, we expect it from the world, but when it's happening inside the church, that's sad. That's really sad. And we must stand up and fill the gap. We must find those good remnant churches. We must be with good, like-minded believers. We're going to have to surround ourselves with solid people to get through all of this, to stand up against all this. And I want to encourage you guys and tell you that you keep going. You keep up the good fights of faith, and you keep on moving until the Lord calls you home or comes back to take us home. So again, I want to keep encouraging you guys with that. We must stay strong. We must speak the truth, and we must find those remnant churches. We must find those remnant believers and be around them. and we're going to have to lean on each other and fully trust in God. Now, as things go on, I just wanted to jump on here and make this video because I thought it was important real quick just to show what's going on in this article from this research center. It's totally crazy. But with that being said, I want to let you guys know of a few things I have planned. What I have planned too is to do some rebuttal videos against some other people, because I want you guys to know that in YouTube and TikTok and all these places now, especially for the youth and young adults and things like that, those are what they're going to, right? Those are what they're looking at. And what's happening is you're having a huge movement of progressive Christianity on there. You're having a big movement of militant atheists on there. And this is what the youth and the young adults and these young people are seeing. And there's not too many people out there that are counteracting it. And we must get out there and counteract this stuff, because I can tell you there's one guy, Brandon Robinson, that's out there that has millions of views, millions of likes, and he's out there saying the most ridiculous things. He doesn't believe that the Bible is fully inherent and true. He takes whatever verses out of context. He pulls what he wants. He says things like sex before marriage is okay, that homosexuality is okay, all these wild things. But he's out there, and this is what people are watching. This is what these young people are seeing, and they're falling for this lie. So my goal is to throw up some videos like that, playing his videos, and then going at it with biblical truth and rebuttaling it and showing why it's wrong. And so those are a few things that I have planned, and some other things as well, of going out to some different places and maybe filming out at some different events and things like that. And then as well, I'll continue on putting just teaching videos and stuff on there like that. So please come back, keep looking for more videos to come. And I hope this video was helpful and fruitful and kind of eye-opening. And I just pray that all is going well for everyone out there. And have a good day. God bless. Please like and subscribe. And thank you.